Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my April front garden tour. I do garden tours every month just to show the progress of my garden. I love to show it to you all, and then I also like to show it for myself because it is a really good way to keep track of the progress in the garden, what you've been doing, and it's a really good morale boost for the garden. So sometimes I like to look back on last month's garden tour just to see what has happened in the past month, which is really fun. But sometimes I also like to look back on last year's garden tour just to see the difference 1 year ago and how much progress my garden has made. And that's actually what I did this morning as I look back on last April's front garden tour from last year. Oh my goodness. Let me show you some clips because what a difference a year makes just by adding some structure to the garden, adding some color to the garden. Man, it makes all the difference in the world. I cannot believe it's only been 1 year. I do think that we are a little bit ahead this season. It got warmer sooner this season, and so everything's kind of a little bit more awake than last year. Last year was a really slow start to our gardening season, but man, what a difference. What a difference. So anyway, let me turn the camera around and we'll get started. So since I'm up on the deck, I might as well get started showing you all what is happening up here. First of all, with the hanging baskets, this is a 2025 recipe of the year from Proven Winners. It's called the Vista View recipe because it is comprised of 3 Supertunia Vistas, and they are not disappointing. First of all, we have Supertunia Vista Jazzberry right here mixed with Supertunia Vista Bubblegum and then Supertunia Vista Snowdrift, and they are so beautiful. And then poking out the top, it's not blooming yet, but this is Stratosphere White Gara. I am absolutely in love with this hanging basket combination. I love it. The only problem is that because I have so many plants in there, I put a lot of emitters, and this is the water is dripping out of here and it's dripping onto our deck. And so I think I'm going to have to plant or put a pot right underneath the hanging basket to catch all the excess water because I didn't put anything in the bottom. So I think I'm going to have to do that, which darn, I have to make something else. I have to have another pot up here, which I don't mind, but that's something that is definitely on my list and that I want to do. But we are absolutely enjoying these hanging baskets so much. Then when it comes to the Zigzag planter, it is looking really, really good. It's always fun to see how the Zigzag planter is going to turn out, or my swoop at my last house. It's always fun. You can plant it and you can kind of have an idea, but once it starts growing, you really start seeing the colors of the flowers a little bit more intensely just because it's so mass planted. So first of all, I have the Supertunia Tiara Pink. Look at how beautiful this is. And I love it because it's a very cool pink color. And then the Whirlwind Blue Scaevola is obviously a cool blue or purple. And that's kind of pulling out the coolness, does that make sense? Coolness of this combination. Then we have totem pole grasses that are coming up right now, so that should look really pretty. And then Stratosphere Pink Gara that's not blooming yet, but it is just about to bloom. And I think this whole combination is going to be really, really pretty. And then, of course, I have the Fragrant Delight Heliotrope, one of my favorite plants. I just love it. It smells so good. It's a little bit overcast today, but in the morning when the sun all of a sudden starts beating down on the heliotrope, the waft of the scent is just so amazing. It's one of my favorite things in the garden, as is my orange blossom scent. So really beautiful. I'm really happy about it, and it's growing in nicely. Okay, and then coming over here to what we will eventually call our front courtyard, because I've said this a million times, there is going to be a fence right here and then a gate kind of right here where I'm standing to make this whole area kind of like a courtyard. So I planted up this mound right here and it just looks so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So I added some rocks. I have the Blue Angel Cedar of Lebanon that is just happy as a clam. That is such a great tree. I had somebody ask me if it always has to be staked up, and honestly, I don't know. It is definitely a how do I want to say it? Not a very stable tree, right? As it's bending over and everything like that. I don't know if it's always going to have to be staked up, but obviously right now it definitely has to be staked up. And then I have these miniature junipers right here. This, I think the hose got this as I'm pulling the hose over that way. I need to get those hose guides, right, that brings the hoses along the pathway. That's definitely something that I definitely want to get. So anyways, the miniature junipers are really beautiful. And then, of course, the Superbena pink cashmere is, you just can't beat that. I have Blushing Princess Sweet Alyssum right here. And then behind it, it's not blooming yet, but I did plant some Plain the Blue Salvia, which will give about 4 feet of height, which will be really, really pretty. Then over here, I have my Espalier that's looking so good. I'm letting it grow. I'm not taming it because usually around Mother's Day is when Star Jasmine starts blooming for us, and I don't want to cut off any blooms at all. So I'm letting it get a little crazy for right now. I'm going to let it bloom, and then I'll go in and I'll trim it and make it look all nice and neat. But I'm really excited for that to start blooming because that is definitely a scent that fills the garden, and it is so, so beautiful. Underneath it, I've showed you guys this in another video. I do have this Morning Glory. It's convolvulus is what it's called. And I wasn't really impressed with it last year. I'm more impressed with it this year because it's blooming this year for me. You can see it's blooming a lot. I'm just not a huge fan of the flowers. Somebody said it looks like bindweed, and I think that that's probably what the problem is yes, I think it looks like bindweed too. And you can see it's kind of growing up. It's not supposed to grow up like that. It's supposed to be a little mounding flower, but these plants are just too happy to grow up because you can see I have this Superbena whiteout. That's not supposed to climb a wall, but it's climbing the Espalier. It's looking pretty happy. So this whole area, I definitely need to, oh my gosh, look at this. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Oh my God, a little bee butt in the morning. What a great way to start the day. Anyway, so, I definitely want to take this whole area out. It's something that I want to do. I kind of have a plan for what I want to do, but now I'm kind of going back and forth. But anyway, it looks good. It's just a work in progress. So coming over this way, you can see my lemon coral sedum is starting to fill in, starting to grow quite a lot, and pretty soon it is going to start blooming these little yellow flowers that I have to admit I'm not a fan of. I don't like it when it blooms. I don't think it looks very pretty, and I would rather cut it all back. I probably won't because I have so many lemon coral sedum. I'll probably just let it bloom out. But I don't like this plant for the flowers. I really like it for the chartreuse foliage color. This plant, though, I do like for the flowers. This is a euphorbia. I don't think I'm gonna pronounce it right, Wolfeni, and I just love this. I think it's so pretty, and all of these are little flowers. Each one of these is a little flower, and it has seeds, and the seeds will actually pop. They'll explode, and I'm hoping it's gonna spread all around this area because this is kind of notorious for spreading. So if you don't want it to spread, don't plant this in your garden. I want it to spread though because of course this is a really tough spot for me right underneath the black walnut tree right here. I have a hard time finding things that will grow, even things that, you know, I've read and say that it grows well, like coneflower. I planted a whole bunch of coneflower right here, and we can see it died. It didn't come back, which was very frustrating. At least I still have this pink crystal grass back here. But it's always a spot that I have trouble with, just simply because of this black walnut tree that secretes a chemical called juglone that basically kills a ton of plants. A lot of plants are not happy. I don't think I pointed out, I have my lavender twist redbud that is absolutely beautiful. It's blooming and it's even starting to get some leaves. So that's really fun. I love redbuds. They're so pretty. Coming this way, you can see I have my Spanish lavender. I just planted this for my blooming garden and it is in full bloom and it is so gorgeous. And I love that plant. It's beautiful. And then if it'll keep blooming, it'll keep reblooming throughout the season. And then this is my Miss Molly butterfly bush. And I think that combination is going to be absolutely beautiful. Right behind here, I have my iceberg roses that are starting to grow. I think I had one bloom somewhere in there, but I have buds all over it. And so that will be a really pretty sight. And then I have this penstemon right here, which I wanted to show you guys this now because it's about to burst into bloom. I can see all the buds on it. I don't remember the name. It's pink something. But I'm really excited about this because I can kind of just tell that this is going to be a really, really good plant. I have my mass of whirlwind blue scaevola. You can see where my dog likes to sleep right here. I will probably replace it, some of that, but I think I just need to clean it up for now. It's just, I don't know what, he just has decided that that's his bed right there. So I guess I should just kind of go with it. And then over here, I cut back my Surefire Rose Begonia, and it is starting to flush out. And I just love the color, the foliage color, especially right next to the Helen von Stein Lamb's Ear. I do want to point out that I do have these drumstick alliums. I planted them not last fall, but the fall before, and they didn't really come out very well. And then now they're coming out this year, which is really exciting. And right behind that, I have all of my Daphne, and you can see I have one of them is starting to bloom. They're still babies. They're still little babies, but they're looking really good. Okay, and then coming down this way, you can see I have Cat's Pajamas Nepeta that is starting to bloom. I have another grouping over here that's starting to bloom as well. Let me show you from this side because I just love this. I love this look right here. So Super Bean Raspberry, Cat's Pajamas Nepeta, and then some Lemon Jade Sedum, I think is what it is, right there. And so hopefully that will grow up and be the same size as that. That would be great. This has been kind of a slow grower for me. I think I just got really small plants, but I'm really excited to see it growing this spring, and I hope it gets really, really big. Coming back over this way, you can see my Breath of Heaven, and then in between that, I have my Ladybird Sunglow Calilophus that's starting to bloom. I wanted to point out, I had pineapple lily here, and it pretty much died immediately when I planted it because the heat got it. But I thought the whole thing died, but it's starting to grow back. Is that not funny? So I'm just going to watch it, and I'm going to wait and see what happens, see if the heat gets it again. And if the heat gets it again, I'll just kind of pull it out, whatever. But man, I'm so surprised to see it. So anyway, more Raspberry Superbina, one crazy dog. Are you happy? Are you a happy boy? Yes, he's a happy boy. Yeah? Yeah? I push record and he starts showing off. I have Thunbergia right here that's starting to grow up. That overwintered for me. And then right behind that, I have some Plain the Blue Salvia that's starting to look really good. And then, of course, my big mass of calla lilies. I love these. A couple people have asked me what variety these are. And they're just, they were labeled as common white calla lily. So I don't know if that helps or not, but it's just the regular calla lily, I guess is what I'll say. They're basically nothing special. I think the thing with calla lilies is you got to find the right place for them. If you can find a place that has moist soil, a little bit of shade, but still some sun, I think that they're going to be super, super happy. I just love them. Let me show you guys the orange blossoms on my orange tree. Oh my goodness, they smell so good. And they're just starting off. They're just starting. There's orange blossoms, or there's buds everywhere, but these guys are starting to open up, and there's a little bit more over there and on the other tree as well. And it just smells so good. And then we have the Lavender River right here, kind of undulating. The lavender starting to bulk out a little bit. It hasn't started blooming yet. I'm so excited for it to start to bloom. And then I am going to be planting stuff around the lavender. I have more alliums here. You can see not in the right spot. These were planted again, not last fall, but the fall before, even before we had this pathway here. And they just needed 2 years to kind of get going. And so now I'm going to have beautiful alliums kind of in the wrong spot, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. My pomegranate tree is looking really good. It's filling out. And again, I want this pomegranate tree to look more like a standard or a lollipop. And it wants to be a shrub. You can see all this growth on the bottom, and I had to come through and I had to kind of clean off the branches. But I think I'm okay with doing that because I think it is really a beautiful tree. And I love the pomegranates. I just want it to be a little bit more contained than it was last year. Then I have my artichoke right here. Is this an art? No, this is a cardoon. I think this is a cardoon. But you can see I have the worst aphids. Look at that. That's aphids, you guys. That is aphid juice. It's disgusting. I shouldn't even show you that. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't want to lose that plant though. It's so pretty. So pretty. Then over here, here's my purple and orange garden bed with Verbena de la Mina. And then I have Cat's Pajamas Nepeta, Orange Blaze Nifofia that's just starting to come. Denim and Lace Russian Sage, and then Chiclet Orange Tacoma right behind there. It's looking really, really pretty. And then just the other day, I planted this pink and purple combination with the pink Profusion Salvia and the purple Ultramarine, Supertunia Mini Vista Ultramarine, which I think is really pretty with the Calendrina Spectabilis right here, which this plant is impressing me. It is just a great, great plant. It definitely spreads, but it's really easy to just break off a branch and kind of guide it where you want it to go. So gorgeous, love it, beautiful. Miss Molly butterfly bush, another Miss Molly over there, just kind of waiting for things to start blooming. Well, speaking of blooming, look at the unplugged white salvia. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that beautiful? This was actually from last season and it came back absolutely beautifully. I just love this plant. It's a really, really good one if you guys are looking for a white salvia. And then over here we have the willow tree garden bed, obviously named because of the beautiful willow tree right there. That's absolutely gorgeous. And then we also have the Chinese pistache that I was definitely worried about when we planted it because we ended up getting a bigger specimen. And when you plant a bigger specimen, sometimes it can get a little bit more stress than smaller plants, but I'm happy to see it's growing. Every single one of the branches look healthy, has new growth on it. And I think it's going to be totally, totally fine. So we did mulch a little bit over this area. We do use arborist wood chips from chipdrop.com. So nothing fancy. I mean, they're free, which is the big thing. And they're really healthy for your garden, but it always looks a little bit better when we have fresh mulch put down. Back here by my deodar cedar, you can see that I have the absolute beautiful Homestead Verbena. Don't look close though, because there's weeds all in it. So I got to get in there and weed it. I've been focusing on other areas of the garden, but it still looks pretty. It still looks good. And then over here, I have my big Echium that is the Pride of Madeira. And then I'll show you guys my Star of Madeira in just a little bit. But that guy is looking good. Although I don't see any buds on it yet, which I'm waiting patiently. This plant was actually from Annie's Annuals and it started off like, you know, it was one of those little 3-inch cans. And so I think, did I plant it last year or the year before? Time is running into itself, so it's hard for me to keep track of everything. Let's see, you can see my Matilla hot poppies that are just looking beautiful. I cut them way back, but they are looking good. They're flushing back and they are definitely spreading. So if you are going to plant Matilla hot poppies, just know that it definitely spreads and you kind of got to watch it and make sure that you keep it under control. And then below the Chinese pistache, you can see that I have my Niagara Falls panicum. It's starting to grow back in, looking really pretty. And then I did do a blooming garden right here in front of the panicums. And I had skyscraper pink salvia, and then I had some lantana as well. And we've had so much work done on the center island and piles of stuff. There were some piles of wood chips here. I think a lot of this got smothered and kind of stepped on. So you can see there's kind of a blank spot there, which is just, you know, paying the price of, getting beautiful stuff done to your garden. Might lose a couple plants. Let me just show you the orchard garden from this side because this is one of my favorite views of the garden. I just think it is so pretty, so pretty. I did transplant some what I think are Suncredible sunflowers, and that's what one of the transplants look like. That's what another one looks like. So we'll see. You know, we'll see if they take. I don't know. I might just have to suck it up and get some more plants. Okay, let me take you over here. I'm going to show you some of the bearded iris. They're so beautiful. Look at how gorgeous. So this raised bed has Spanish lavender, some lavendin. Is that right? Is that how you say it? This other kind of lavender, and then interspersed is bearded iris, and it looks really, really pretty. I have some really beautiful colors that are finally starting to bloom. They took a while to bloom, but man, look at how gorgeous these are. These are probably my favorite. They're so beautiful. And then over here I have other ones, and then these peach ones. Look at how gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? And then before I head over to the center island, I want to go over to the long border. I feel like all my garden tours, I leave the long border for very last, and I don't do a good enough job showing you guys exactly what's going on in the long border. So I'm going to do it first before I do the center island. I have to admit, the long border I really haven't been paying much attention to. It's kind of been lowest priority, basically. And the center island has been my top priority. So at some point I will, put all my attention on this long border, but it's kind of the spot where I'll just kind of like throw plants and not really pay too much attention to it. So it is coming along, but obviously not exactly how I want. So I have my honeysuckle right here that's going to hopefully cover this lattice fence. It's looking really good. I cannot wait until it starts blooming. And then some really beautiful plants in front of it. First of all, I have this Big Sky Salvia. This is a new one from Proven Winners, and I'm interested to see once that starts blooming. You can see the gladiolas that I had planted last year. They're starting to come up again, which is so funny because I was talking about how gladiolas were like weeds for us here. They multiply so quickly, and the soil here is absolutely terrible. It's very rocky. I actually think they put some cement, like cement powder, leftover cement in this area too. And so I thought, well, if any place is going to kind of hold the gladiolas in place, it would be this spot. And they're doing just fine. They're perfectly happy. I have another one of my Spanish lavenders right there, and then my tulip tree right here that's starting to flush out. That's really exciting. This tree is going to get really big. It will be eventually it'll be one of the biggest trees in my garden, which I think is a perfect spot for it. Right behind that, I have my peanut butter plant that actually has a bloom on it, which is really, really fun. I'll put the name of this plant on the screen. I always just call it peanut butter plant, because when you rub the leaves and then smell it, it smells just like peanut butter. It is a super, super cool plant. And I actually saw this plant at the Huntington Garden when we went a week or two ago, and it was in the Shakespeare Garden, which is really interesting. I'll have to look into that because the Shakespeare Garden is all plants that are from Shakespeare's time in England. So I'll have to see if this what this plant has to do with Shakespeare. And here you can see my candy corn spirea. I have 3 of them around a weeping buddleia. And these 3 plants right here, oh my goodness, what fabulous, fabulous plants they are. The new growth started off as red, then it turned to an orange. Now it is a yellow, and then eventually it's going to turn to green. It is such a beautiful plant with such gorgeous foliage interest. I'm really happy to have them there. Then coming this way, you can see that we had a pile of rocks here from the center island. We moved them. I'll show them to you in a little bit. I do want to put more rocks here, but it was more important that we had them over there, so we just transplanted them. I have a crepe myrtle right there that hopefully should start blooming pretty soon. More Superbena raspberry, more buddleia behind that, and then more bearded iris that I think is really gorgeous. I have this lemon cypress that is growing so fast. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe how fast this plant is growing. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was shorter than the podocarpus, and it's already grown past that. So if you're planning to plant one of these in your garden, just know it is a fast grower. Oh, please don't eat those. Oh, please don't eat those. No. This is my apricot tree, and I have a beautiful, can you not? No! Monty, no. Give it to me. No. You. Hold, please. Monty. No. No. Not a toy. Not a ball. Oh my gosh, this dog. No, I'm putting it in my pocket. You have to go. Leave it. Okay, this is my apricot tree. It's looking incredible this year. Last year I got, I don't know, like 5 or 6 apricots from it, and I have so many. As long as Monty stays away from them, they'll be good. I will thin them. I will come in here and I will thin them eventually. But I did a really good pruning. I sprayed copper just to make sure it didn't have any bugs or anything. And I haven't, did I fertilize? Yeah, I think I fertilized too. So, wow, it's looking so much. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Gosh, pruning. It's good. Here is one of my blooming gardens. This is actually my March blooming garden. Should have been my April blooming garden because now the osteospermum is starting to bloom. I'm getting this creeping Jenny spread all over, which is what I wanted. And then my azaleas are even starting to bloom a little bit as well. Not looking great, but maybe we just have to give it time, so no big deal. Then coming over here, I have my purple hopseed tree that, I don't know, it's not looking great. I think I need to get in there and I need to you know, like prop the branches up, strap it up and train it and everything, because it's looking kind of sad. I think we had a storm and everything kind of got weighted down and heavy, but it's not looking good. So I got to get in there and I got to fix that a little bit. And then coming this way, my Magnolia stellata, it fleshed out. It bloomed a little bit. It bloomed 2 or 3 blooms and that was pretty much it. But it's a pretty new tree. These are podocarpus, if you guys are wondering. They're going to grow pretty big, pretty tall, and they're really wonderful trees to have right on your property's edge because you can trim them any way that you want to. So they're perfect privacy trees. And then this guy right here is my Traveler's Weeping Redbud that is just absolutely stunning. I'm just going to show you guys these because I can't help myself. Look at how gorgeous. So red tulips, these are all from Proven Winners. I've got Mascari. I've got one random tulip, which is, if you know me, you know it's my favorite thing when you plant something, you plant these bulbs and you say, okay, this is my color story. It's going to be red and it's going to be surrounded with purple. And then nature tells you, no way, man. No way. We're going to make it how we want it. And I just love that. I think that that's beautiful. I got it a lot when I would have, like pink tulips. And then all of a sudden I would have one red tulip in the massive pink. This year I got all these beautiful red tulips. And then I got one yellow striped tulip, which I just love it. It's just perfect. Okay, then I'm back on the other side of the center island. The center island is really where I've been focused a lot lately, just making sure that I'm getting some plants in the ground now that we have the structure in with the pathway and with the dry creek bed and the gazebo. And it is really, man, I am enjoying it so much. I kind of wish that we had started with the center island. We started with the orchard garden. I was super excited to get the orchard garden going once we moved into this property. But I kind of wish we started with the center island because the center island really makes a huge difference, especially when you drive in and you see the gazebo and you see the dry creek bed and you start seeing all the plants here. It makes a huge difference. So flanked on either side of the pathway, we have 2 Tuscarora crepe myrtles that hopefully should start blooming soon. I also recently just planted some Supertunia Bordeaux. So I think that will be very, very pretty on either side. And then coming up here, just a whole bunch of colors. Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow, Superbena Raspberry, Augusta Lavender Heliotrope, that I love that combination, so pretty. And then we have some Silver Lining Artemisia back there. This is a trio of topiaries that I just moved. I don't think I like them here. I did a video on it and I was so kind of back and forth on whether I like them in that spot or not. And I don't know. I'm about to get rid of these plants, honestly, you guys, because I'm so frustrated with them. They're one of those plants that I can't find the right spot for. There's so much work, and I mean, they were work because they were stuck in the pots that they were growing in the backyard. And now I'm just ignoring it because I can't even deal with it right now. So we're just ignoring it for now, but I have a feeling I will be moving them, but we're just going to ignore it. Over here on this side, I have this beautiful orange blaze Nyphophia. Oh, I just love that plant. And look at it with the Augusta Lavender Heliotrope. Just beautiful. And then more of the Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow, which is actually the annual of the year with Proven Winners. Then you can see my Weeping Atlas Cedar, my Serpentine Cedar, that is absolutely gorgeous, really pretty. pink profusion salvia over here. As you can see, everything is just starting to wake up, and it really is looking absolutely gorgeous. You'll see this in another video probably later this week, but I did start planting some of my mangave here, and then I think I'm going to underplant it with some alyssum. I think that that'll be really pretty. I think Erin from Impatient Gardener did that. I think I'm copying her. I think I saw her do that, and I thought, oh, that's really good. I saw it somewhere. I don't know where I saw it. I'm pretty sure it was Erin. And then anyway, I have another grouping there, and then I will do another grouping probably up there and probably up there, somewhere around that. But I'm really happy to finally get this mangave in the ground because I think they'll be really happy here. And then when it comes to the dry creek bed, we started extending it closer to the gazebo. You can see we kind of dug out this area and spread all the rocks that used to be on the long border over here. I still need to fix the edges to make the slope not so steep. And then we're going to have big boulder fountains in there to make it look really, really natural. And then have the sound of water and all that kind of stuff. So I think that will be really pretty. We are enjoying the gazebo so much, you guys. What a wonderful addition to the garden. And then all around the gazebo, we have a bunch of colorful annuals like Supertunia Royal Velvet, like Bordeaux, Superbina Stormburst, just really, really pretty combination. I do want to mulch this whole area, but I get my mulch from chipdrop.com, and so I kind of have to wait until they have a drop available. I was on there, and I think I'm on my 8th or 9th chip drop at this point, so I feel like they know me now. So I'm just patiently waiting until we have some mulch, and I think that that'll look a lot better for that. The reason why I use chip drop is because it's free, and it's really good for my soil. It's really done quite a number on my soil, and so I'm still in the process of improving my soil and letting the arborist wood chips kind of work into the soil along with the compost that I add to it. So anyway, this should be mulched hopefully soon once we get a delivery. So here you can see the view of the garden when standing up in the gazebo. It just makes such a huge difference. It's only a couple feet off the ground, but just a couple feet, my goodness, it just changes the whole perspective of the garden. And to me, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's so fun. We have a very flat garden. We live way out in the country, in ag country, with fields and goats, and there's no cows around here, which is very nice. But anyways, it's very, very flat. So just having this gazebo to give it a little bit of height difference makes a huge, huge difference for our view of the garden when we're here. So that's it for my April garden tour. You can see what a huge difference this year April versus last year April, and I can only imagine what next year April is going to be. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.